Oh my, it's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey for Thursday, June 8th, not January. I'm in the correct month. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge with your hosts, Zach and Ray. And yes, we are back together again, ladies and gentlemen, after Zach spent a day in the big city.
Big smoky city yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, but here's the deal. We're going to talk about used car prices. Wholesale used car prices have hit their lowest point so far in 2023. Not hyperbolic because it is 100% true. Is this the market reset? We'll continue that conversation from Tuesday. And I want to ask you the question, Dad, right time to buy? It's going to be now? Is it going to be later? I think there's a lot of interesting pieces that we can pick out of here. Let's start, though, with the data.
Yes.
Data. Let's start with the
data. Can we start with that? Data.
There it is. Wholesale used vehicle prices see continued declines in May. So we get information from Cox Automotive.
Yes.
They are the big conglomerate in the space. They own Manheim. Black Book is another resource we look at from time to time. Both have been showing declines. A decrease of 2.7% in May from April, Dad.
Yes.
Is what we saw over on the Manheim side of things.
Down 7.6%.
Year over year.
Yes.
Price erosion continued in May with another month-over-month drop in the index, bringing it 0.3 points below our January result, said Chris Frey.
Yeah.
That
Fry.
is the Fry.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is Frey.
It's Fry. That's how it's pronounced.
This is the lowest point that we've been to so far, Dad, on the wholesale side this year. Do you expect used car prices to continue to go down because all the data is pointing in that direction?
Yes and no. Yeah, I think new car wholesale values will continue to drop slightly, not dramatically. I think the used car shortage still exists and will continue to persist for quite some time into the future.
Yep.
And because of that shortage of quality pre-owned cars, the prices will remain historically high in comparison to where they were 3 years ago. It's just a continuation of the fact that we lost 10 million new cars that were scheduled to have been built that weren't built. That means they weren't sold. That means there weren't trade-ins. That means that the shortage will be continuing, and those vehicles weren't built. So they were lost to production during the pandemic and the resulting alleged chip issues.
We did our video yesterday on the CarEdge channel, the one where we were at the Toyota dealership.
Yes.
And I have never seen our Instagram DMs flooded like they were yesterday, Dad. Folks who are frustrated. Hey, Jason Friedman, dear childhood friend, went to a Toyota dealership looking at their GR, what the heck's a GR86?
Yes.
$27,000 additional dealer markup. The reason I bring that up in the context of used cars is because so many folks in there were saying, hey, I'm interested in buying a 4Runner or Highlander, used ones. And they're still selling for over original MSRP.
Yes.
So it is still vehicle specific, but you can't deny the trends. Like you go to, Dad, if I pull up Automotive News, which is the industry publication, the headline on Automotive News is wholesale used vehicle prices decline again in May. I'm going to pull up some data here in just a second from a car dealership guy. He was talking about that the different software providers that tell dealers how to price inventory.
Yes.
They're all telling dealers to price their inventory lower, but dealers are refusing to.
Do you know why they're refusing
Why
to?
are they refusing?
Because there is a shortage of quality pre-owned cars. And as long as that shortage exists, then the dealers are going to continue to believe that they don't have to reduce the prices, that ultimately there are still enough people in the market that when push comes to shove, they will pay what the dealers are asking, even though, according to some in the industry, I would be one of them saying it, that, they should lower their prices, but they're not doing it.
All right, let me pull it up from Car Dealership Guy, and we can read through some of this together. There's also some other factors, some other forcing functions here that are going to require dealers to lower their prices.
Really?
I think, we'll talk about it. Take a wild guess at the percentage of used cars that are overpriced right now. Warning, this is geeky content. The share of bronze used vehicles on dealer lots just at 46%, the highest in over 2 years. What does this mean? Bronze vehicles is an industry term. I'd never heard of this. This is my first time hearing this. Industry term that was coined by Profit Times GPS, another one of the companies Cox Automotive owns.
Yes.
Bronze
you know
vehicles.
who they don't own?
Us.
That's
Bronze
correct.
vehicles are basically, quote, vehicles with the highest risk and lowest potential for a return. The metric is derived using a vehicle's cost to market and the market days supply. Practically speaking, bronze vehicles are simply vehicles that will likely need to be discounted in order to sell.
Mm-hmm.
According to Dale Pollock, who's the founder of vAuto, which we
Yes.
talk about vAuto from time to time here on the channel because it's the pricing software most dealerships use for used cars.
And appraising software.
A staggering 75% of dealers are rejecting their pricing system's recommendations to reduce prices on their bronze vehicles. On average, dealers are pricing their bronze vehicles about $1,000 higher than the algorithms are recommending.
Yeah.
I don't see how that can work for all that long if all these dealerships operate off of.
Yeah, but if the vast majority, and I would say 75% represents
Absolutely.
a vast majority. So if the vast majority of the dealers are eschewing what vAuto is suggesting price wise, then why are the prices going to come down? They're
Because-
not.
No, they absolutely are because you're not factoring in floor plan costs. We know
And
that
the
as
dealers
vehicles sit, prices have to come down.
And the dealers at this point don't seem to care. I mean, I know when I ran dealerships, you would look at your floor plan costs. You would look at all your interest. You would recognize the value of each parking space as valuable real estate, and that to have the same car sitting on it taking up that valuable real estate and not selling and not turning didn't make good economic sense for a dealership. But having said that, having understood that, having lived by that, I don't see dealers utilizing the same concepts today. They know part of the problem is that they know that they can't replace these cars. If they went to the auctions and they bought the nicer cars and they overpaid, which they did if they bought the nicer cars, and they reconditioned them to a degree, okay, would they rather have them continue to sit on the lot hoping to find a retail buyer for them than to take it to the auction as prices are continuing to go down and have that sunk cost lost that they're going to have when they sell it at the auction, and then buy something else that's still going to be overpriced, not quite as overpriced as what they had, bring it back to the dealership, recondition it, and hope to sell it. So I think many of the dealers, the vast majority, are saying, you know what, we're going to take the shot, we're going to run the risk, we're going to go against conventional wisdom, and we're just going to hold on to the cars, and we're going to keep asking the elevated prices that we've been asking, and eventually, like I know from working for the gentleman that I worked for before, it could be the last one in the country, and somebody's going to come in and pay that price because it's the last one. So I get what you're saying, and I get what car dealership guys saying, and I get what conventional wisdom is saying. But conventional wisdom hasn't been in the operating scheme of things for the past 3 years.
You're bringing to mind another piece of data we got here. I'll share the screen with everyone. We can grab it together. This is all coxautoinc.com/market-insights, where I get a lot of information.
Yes.
The one I want to click on, Dad, was published yesterday. Used vehicle inventory volume drops in 2022 while days supply increases. So you're making a lot of great points here. What doesn't compute for me is here's used vehicle inventory for 2022.
Yeah.
It ended lower than it started. But look at the chart of days supply.
It ended higher.
It ended materially higher, Dad.
Yeah.
We went from a sub 40-day supply to a 60-day supply.
Close to a 60-day supply, yes.
It boggles my mind if the economics of a dealership are what I understand them to be, which is
what they have been in the past.
Which is that floor plan companies
Yes.
give lines of credit to dealerships to purchase these vehicles, and then they have monthly expenses, daily, interest on those vehicles. They're incentivized to sell them. And I was watching another great channel, our friend Car Questions Answered, Brandon.
Yes.
I was on his stream the other day. He even mentioned that they're taking some of their cars that are sitting on his lot and selling them at the auction right now. Like, it is happening. Like, there's such a short slowdown in consumer demand that dealers are starting to liquidate some and move some of those vehicles.
But
I just don't see why it's going to not impact retail prices.
Are they taking the higher quality pre-owned cars that they drastically overpaid for, are those the ones that they're taking to the sale? And my suspicion is they're not. They paid dearly to get the good 2, 3, 4-year-old cars. And it's virtually impossible to find good 2, 3, 4-year-old cars.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it easier to find some of the lower priced vehicles like what Brandon sells?
I doubt it.
No, I think
think
it
it's
might be
easier
at
to
this
find.
point. I think it might be at this point because even Brandon said that the number of cars, he has like 70 cars on his lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. And he has seen a slowdown in sales in that particular end of the market. So I think those vehicles might be making it back to the auction, but the dealers that overpaid for the quality stuff,
Yep.
I don't think they're running to take that aged inventory to the auctions like they should have or would have in the past.
All right, gang, we're gonna put this to the test. Live example. My dad's gonna know it's coming before I even pull it up. But give me 1 second.
I'm walking
Give
out.
me
I'm
one
telling you
second.
right.
Don't walk
I'm
out.
walking.
Don't walk out.
We had this
Dad,
conversation the other
stop.
day.
Calm down, Dad.
Stop with these Sprinter vans.
Dad. I'm going to my CarEdge, CarEdge.com, and I am going to look what the team did. They added a little animation there. Isn't that cute?
Oh, wow. The steering wheel turns.
Clicking on buy, clicking on VIN. One of the only car searches that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
You can run VIN specific searches on.
Okay.
We are coming to our favorite Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. Now, we're going to name this van. What do you want to name it?
Zach.
Zach is still currently listed at $38,990. However, if I come down here and if I click on the dealership webpage, I can see that they just updated their price this morning. It'll be updated on our website tomorrow.
Yes.
They're down another $1,000, Pops.
Yeah.
Zach keeps falling and Zach can't get back up. Zach needs life alert.
Zach does. And when they drop the price to, I don't know, $32,000, $33,000, maybe $34,000, and Zach will be driven off the lot. But until that point, Zach won't be. And my guess is, even though it was a 10-year-old Sprinter with a limited amount of miles, my guess is that they traded it for like, I don't know, $28,000, $29,000.
There's no way they traded it for $29,000. No customer back in March would have they would have gone to KBB and at least gotten the crap, from KBB. They traded it for 45.
Oh, they did not.
Let's call them.
They did. Yeah, please do. After the show, on your walk home,
I will call Elgin, Chrysler, Dodge,
Jeep
and
say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you tell me what the actual ACV of this van was when you originally traded it?
I will call them. Be following us over on Instagram or on Twitter. Just search CarEdge.
Oh, sure, Mark there.
Mark, I agree with you. However,
one outlier, you keep pulling up the same damn outlier week in and week out. And I'm sick of it. I'm telling you, I'm going to walk off the set.
All right. Let's switch gears.
I can't walk off the set. You're blocking me.
Oh, man. Also, shout out to Gilberto. Yesterday, when I was on the Northeast Regional train, Gilberto came over. He's a part of our community. He watches the videos. He's in the market trying to buy a Toyota right now.
Oh, bless his heart. I
wish
him luck.
Wished him luck.
We know what dealership not to send them to here in South Jersey.
He's up in Rhode Island.
Yes.
So hopefully he has someone up there. All right, Dad, here we go. We've got financial markets.
This could play more of a part in helping to lower some prices than anything.
All right, let's break it down. Citizens Financial.
Yes.
They had been slowing down the amount of consumer auto loans they've been writing for about a year now.
Yes.
And they've ultimately made the decision to get out of the indirect car loan business. Indirect financing is when you all go to the dealership and you let them run your credit. That's indirect lending.
You let them submit an application to a lending institution on your behalf to arrange a loan. That's indirect lending. Now, that's not saying that Citizens Bank won't do direct lending to their customers or someone might walk in and want to get a car loan. but they've decided to abandon indirect lending.
So
at the moment.
they've stopped partnering with dealerships
Yes.
to allow them to get financing options for customers. This is big because this
No,
is not
that
the
is-
first bank
No.
this year, this month, this quarter.
No, we've been reading about it.
There have been probably one or two banks per month pulling out of either the indirect lending space to consumers or the
Yes.
floor plan space to dealers. We've had both happen.
Yes, that is correct.
When you have fewer options in a market, Dad,
Yeah, that
typically
normally raises the price. Yes.
higher prices typically lead to less demand.
Could, yes. Yes. I mean, we see it, it almost becomes monopolistic when you have fewer players in the market. So if there are fewer large, too big to fail banks that are the only ones left doing indirect lending, then yeah, they don't, the interest rates won't have to be necessarily as low as they've been in the past.
Yep.
It could impact dealers because
It will impact
the
dealers.
spreads won't be as large. So yeah, there are. I'm not sitting here saying there aren't some factors out there that could impact pricing and the ability of people to buy cars. There are, and there have been for quite some time, and we've been talking about it for quite some time, especially when the average new car payment is about $750 a month. That's out of most people's comfortable budget range for a car payment. So yes, there are things that could continue to slow down to a degree the demand out there for both new and pre-owned cars. Now, we've seen on the new car side that some of the manufacturers, except Toyota in particular, some of the manufacturers have stepped up their incentive spend. Now, what do I mean when I say their incentive spend? They set aside marketing dollars to help consumers buy their vehicles, either through less than market value interest rates. That's known as a subvented interest rate. If current averages are like 8% on new car loans, a subvented or below average rate could be like we were at the Mazda dealer the other day. We saw they had 2.9 available on some models, 3.9 available on other models. Well, in order for the manufacturer to do that, they compensate the lender for that. Usually it's their own captive lender. And the other incentive typically are cash rebates that are utilized as a down payment to show, in effect, a larger discount. There was a comment the other day from someone in Maryland complaining, well, the state of Maryland, they're thieves. They tax it. Well, that's because it's considered cash down. It's not a discount. It's cash down. And well, so cash down doesn't impact the selling price. It just means that they're contributing some of your cash down. So we see incentives from a number of the manufacturers going up, most of the manufacturers. But so far, we haven't seen a lot on the pre-owned side of things.
No, not a lot of price movement, with the exception of
what? Sprinter vans.
All righty. All right. I just want to pull up a couple comments in the chat, and then we're going to jump to really, you've got to be kidding me. We've got, where was it? From Feel Good.
Yes.
See, Feel Good. The car prices are not the lowest. Stop spreading false news. They continue to grow and haven't decreased since the last 2 years.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, I'm actually quite proud of today's title because we're simply pulling from the latest data from Cox Automotive that everyone has access to. You go to coxautoinc.com/market-insights. You scroll up to the top. You click on wholesale used vehicle prices. See continued declines in May, decreased 2.7% month over month and down 7.6% year over year. And you read this line that tells us that May dropped below where we were in January, which was the previous low water mark. And that is how you get to a headline of car prices have fallen to their lowest price of 2023. We've had a great discussion.
And that is wholesale prices.
Yep.
Okay. And we have seen some decline in retail asking prices. Not nearly what it should or what we need it to be,
Agreed.
but it is reflective of the available inventory that is out there. So asking prices have gone down slightly. Wholesale values have gone down more than slightly. And so this is a true headline, much like yesterday's where somebody said another clickbait title, and it was not, because it was honest as the day is long. Now, if you want to make it clickbaity in your mind, go right ahead.
Let's keep moving. Mr. Brightstar wants to know if you can get a deal on Pacificas. Yes,
Yes,
those
you
are some of
can,
those negotiable.
especially the Pacifica hybrids.
9% is what we're seeing
Yeah.
off of MSRP. AJ says not following the fundamentals can only be done for so long. The fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason. When the fundamentals aren't followed, a crash always happens. So thinking that maybe there's something on the horizon.
Perhaps there is. I don't know.
John enjoyed seeing us on a field trip. We're going to be doing more of those. Don't you worry.
Yes.
I actually have some big ambitions around that, so stay tuned. And then we've got
He hasn't shared them with me, folks.
Steve says banks are discovering that loans originate through indirect dealer channels have a much higher degree of default and fraud. Yeah, I think you're likely onto something there, Steve, because dealers have an interesting way of always getting someone approved. All right, Pops.
Yes.
Let's have an ad lib.
Oh, really? You got to be kidding me! It's awfully early in the show for that.
It is. But,
Yeah.
but I want to pull it up.
Oh, you told me we weren't going to do this.
Yeah, but I changed my mind.
Yeah, okay.
Carvana says it expects adjusted profit of more than $50 million in Q2. Shares surge. The announcement sparked a rally for Carvana shares Thursday on Wall Street. The reason this has really got to be kidding me, you and I covered this just the other day. The debt holders of Carvana have refused to swap that debt for more new debt because they owe every car Carvana sells, they pay $4,000 in debt service.
Yes. They're losing money on every car they sell.
Car dealers in this market make a lot of money per vehicle retailed. They sell cars, they make a lot of money. They do not make a lot of money when you have to spend $4,000 in servicing the debt. Pretty ridiculous.
I would love to see what type of accounting hijinks they will be using to have in excess of a $50 million profit in this quarter. And if they did, it would only be the second quarter in their history of making money.
Yeah.
Now, a car dealership guy said, "Hey, if I were to interview Ernie Garcia, okay, what questions would you want me to ask?" And the question I said, "Well, really, Ernie, how is it that you're making this happen? What exactly are you doing?"
Oh, and Mark says they sold their buildings and now we covered that last year. They were selling their real estate to then lease it back to lower their operating expenses. The thing that I find fascinating about this, I pulled up right here. Carvana leadership claims to have a total gross profit per vehicle of more than $6,000.
There are real car companies out there that are run by real car people. Let me just think of a couple. Lithia, Penske, AutoNation, much bigger operations than, say, Carvana.
Yep.
And I mean, and they've been extremely successful.
Yeah, made a lot of money for a lot of shareholders.
Yes, and their average gross profit per vehicle sold on the used car side, isn't anywhere near that number. Nowhere near it.
No.
Maybe it's with F&I included, maybe it's $4,000. But it's been going down.
Yep.
Now, Carvana are you telling me that I'm supposed to believe for an instant that a company that lost, what was it, $2 billion last year, suddenly
they unlocked it. They figured out.
Yeah, they found the secret sauce. Okay, and they
bigger vending machines.
And they have outperformed every other retailer out there, not by a little bit, but by a lot of bit. Is that what you expect me to believe? You want me to suspend? What do you think? I'm at the movie theater? Okay. I need to suspend belief, suspend reality for however long it takes to listen to you pitch this new concept of yours that you're actually making. No, your history suggests absolutely otherwise. And so I don't believe that you've suddenly found the secret sauce to be able to make $6,000 per car. You're not. You're just not doing it. You are, before I get myself in trouble and get sued.
Let's stop.
I just find it hard to believe.
Cutting them off. All right. Want to remind everyone.
Really? You really got to be kidding.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, CarEdge.com. That's where we can help. Got the whole team behind us. About 20 of us that are all here working on your behalf to help you. If you're going to buy a car, if you're going to sell a car, please get offers through us. Warranty, we got the service contract, the electronics coverage as well. All the free resources, everything you need right here. Pops, I do want to remind everyone, I am going to call Elgin after this call. I'm going to let them know that this Sprinter van is famous. It is famous on the interwebs, okay? So please, if you're not following over on Twitter, I am at Shefska.
Yeah.
My dad is on here at Raz's Jazz. And follow over on Instagram as well. We're getting back in the habit of doing Ask Us Anythings.
Yeah, aren't we supposed to do that today? But you're busy.
I'm very busy today, so we're probably going to do it tomorrow. Or maybe we'll do it at dinner tonight when we're out. We'll do it tomorrow. We do Ask Us Anythings over on Instagram. So please,
you got me working Sundays now. I mean, what the?
Please check it out there.
My. So at dinner, you want to be doing Ask Me Anything while we're in the middle.
What are we going to be doing? Sitting there eating chips and salsa?
You're damn right. Yeah. So I guess between bites of chips and salsa and my nachos or whatever it is that I get for dinner, you can be asking me questions, and I'll be more than happy while I'm crunching on them chips. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, no, just interfere with my dinner. Go right ahead.
All right, tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with Miss Kimberly Klein. She is on vacation, but she's coming in tomorrow to do the show with us. So we're super excited for that. So we'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Yes. And really, you got to be kidding me about that dinner nonsense.
We're not going to do the dinner, but I think it could be fun.
No, certainly it could. Maybe in the car driving over.
Michael, if you're going to buy in September, get Coach in July or August.
Yes, and you got to find that thing from Brandon, that comment he had posted.
Brandon, you can take it up with your wife. You guys will figure it out. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. We'll report back to what Elgin says about Zach, the Sprinter van.